Okay guys, math today. Lesson 114. We're talking about unit multipliers, and I don't think we've probably ever seen this before. So a unit multiplier is a fraction that equals 1, and that's written with two different units of measure. So it'd be like 1 foot and 12 inches. Those equal 1, right? Those equal the same thing. So you would write them as a fraction. So for example, you might write it depending on what they're asking you, you might write 1 foot over 12 inches, or you might write 12 inches over 1 foot. The fraction, these two fractions, those are called a unit multiplier. And they're a unit multiplier because they have two different units of measure. And you'll see what we're going to do with them through this lesson, but this is what a unit multiplier might look like. So you could also do, I don't know, what are some other things that we know? 3 feet in 1 yard, right? So 3 feet over 1 yard, or it can be the opposite way. I'm trying to get this camera to work right. Okay, so 1 yard over 3 feet. Okay, that's one unit multiplier. You can also do time. Time's a unit multiplier. What do we know about time? Let's see, 60 minutes over 1 hour, or 1 hour over 60 minutes. A unit multiplier can be flipped and it still will equal 1. I know there's a shine on our thing. Okay, so let's go through the lesson and see what it says. So it says, recall that when a numerator and a denominator of a fraction are equal, so they're not zero, and are not zero, the fraction equals 1. So that all those unit multipliers I just showed you would have equaled 1, right? Since 1 foot equals 12 inches, you can form two unit multipliers, and we did that, right? Where we had 1 foot over 12 inches, or 12 inches over 1 foot. Both of those equal 1. That's two unit multipliers, okay? Each of these fractions equals 1 because the numerator and the denominator are equal. Just like if you had 5 over 5, that would equal 1. If you had 10 over 10, that equals 1, right? Same thing if you have something 12 inches over 1 foot, same thing, equals 1. They equal the same thing. You can use a unit multiplier to help convert from one unit of measure to another. So if we wanted to convert 60 inches to feet, we can multiply 60 inches by the unit multiplier. Okay, so I'll show you how to do this. By the unit multiplier, 1 foot over 12 inches. So if you want to convert 60 inches to a foot, here's how you do it. You multiply, okay? So our given is 60 inches, okay? And if we want to convert that to feet, we would multiply, okay, 1 foot over 12 inches. So I'm going to tell you how I came up with this part, because we make this 60 be over 1, okay? That's what we would do with any whole number. I'm going to tell you right now that labels matter. Okay, so when you're dealing with unit multipliers, you're dealing with the label mostly. So don't leave them out. They're a huge part of the equation. Okay, so when this is our given, we put it over 1. Okay, just like if you're going to multiply like 5 times 1/12 without any unit multiplier, any unit in there, you would put the whole number over 1. Okay, so that's why we put it over 1. So now we cross off things we reduce before we multiply. Okay, same as before, we can reduce. Okay, so first of all, I can reduce this inch and this inch, which is what I need to do. That's how I decided which unit multiplier I was going to use. Because remember, we have 1 foot over 12 inches, or we have 12 inches over 1 foot. If they're asking you for feet, I need that feet to be on top. Okay, I need to cross out these inches. I need to get rid of them. Okay, so to do that, they have to be opposite one another in the problem. So now I can also reduce 12 and 60. I know 12 goes into 12 once, and I know 12 goes into 60 5 times. Okay, and now I just do the multiplying. And the only thing I have left is 5 times 1 foot, and I can't leave out the label, so that's 5 feet. And that's 1 times 1, so it's over 1. So I could put it over 1 and then reduce again, but my answer in the end is going to be 5 feet. So if I convert 60 inches, which I already know you know how to do that in your head, right? But if I convert 60 inches to feet using a unit multiplier. And they're going to tell you to use a unit multiplier, so you're going to have to know what to do. I'm going to get 5 feet. Okay? I think unit multipliers are mostly confusing because you have to know which one to use. They always have two because you can flip them, and you have to know where to put the label. Like which one of those labels needs to be opposite of what I need. So let's look at example 1. First of all, A says write 2 unit multipliers using these equivalent measures. So it says 3 feet equals 1 yard. Okay, so I know that my first unit multiplier is going to be 3 feet over 1 yard, and I know my second one is going to be the opposite of that, 1 yard over 3 feet. You can always get 2 unit multipliers out of one equal measure. Okay, so that's A. There's my 2 unit multipliers. Okay, and then B says, which unit multiplier would you use to convert 30 yards to feet? Okay, so we have to think of that in terms of an equation. If you have 30 yards and you want to convert that to feet, this is going to end up being 30 over 1. Which one of these unit multipliers would get yards on the bottom if I multiplied it, right? And so I would be using this 3 feet over 1 yard. So this is the unit multiplier that I would use to convert 30 yards to feet using a unit multiplier. Okay, and a unit multiplier, remember, equals 1, and there's always 2 of them. So I know that can be a little confusing. Now I can do this. I can cross off yards. I don't have any way to reduce any further, so my answer, which I'm going to write down here for you, is 30 times 3. So that's going to be that's going to be 90, and my labels are gone, feet. So your answer is going to be 90 feet. So if I converted that, it'd be 90 feet. Okay? Let's do example 2. All right, so example 2 says convert 30 feet to yards using a unit multiplier. So we did feet to yards already. We did 3 feet to 1 yard, or 1 yard to 3 feet. So using a unit multiplier, one of these, convert 30 feet, so 30 feet, right, to yards. So this is going to be 30 over 1. Okay, and then I need feet and feet, so I'm going to use this one because this feet is on the bottom. So multiply, I'm going to use this unit multiplier, 1 yard to 3 feet. Now I cross out things, I reduce them. Okay, so I'm reducing feet, and I'm also able to reduce 30 and 3. So 3 goes into 3 1 time, 3 goes into 30 10 times. So now I just do the multiplying. 10 times 1 is 10. I can't forget my label because that's the most important. And then 1 times 1 is 1. So my answer is going to be 10 yards. And you have to show this work. If it tells you to use a unit multiplier, you have to show this whole equation. Okay? I'm going to do a couple of the lesson practices for you, but then I want you to try some on your own also. So let's look at A. A says write 2 unit multipliers for these equivalent measures. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So if my given is 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, there's one of my unit multipliers, and now I just flip it. Okay? It doesn't matter which one you do first. I'm flipping it, and it goes 4 quarts over 1 gallon. Okay? So there's A. This is A. Now let's look at B. B says, which unit multiplier from problem A would you use to convert 12 gallons to quarts? So 12 gallons is my given, so that's going to be over 1. And they want it to be quarts. So which one of these am I going to use? I'm going to use 4 quarts because I want this gallon on the bottom. I want it opposite what I have here. 1 gallon. Okay? And I figure that out by doing this, and I can multiply straight across because there's nothing else to reduce. And I'm going to get 48 quarts. Okay? which they didn't ask you for the answer. I'm just showing you. I think that I'm going to let you work through C, D, E, F, G. If you have trouble with this lesson, please call me. I have to go to a funeral today, so I'll be away from my phone for a little bit this afternoon, but I will get back to you. So if I don't get back to you right away, just have a little patience, and I'll get back to you today, okay? So you're going to work your way through the unit multipliers. Don't skip this. Do the work. Don't skip it. You'll need it. You do unit multipliers through high school, okay? So this is the beginning of that, so don't skip that part because you're going to really wish you hadn't. All right, talk to you guys later.